Good morning. It's just gone 11 o'clock and we are live, and I hope everyone is well. It's a rainy day here on the Central Coast, but nice and cozy inside. So I hope that you'll pop on and say hi, say hello. It's all happening here. I've actually got a couple of actual classes coming up in the next week, and all of a sudden things have gone a little bit crazy again as we try and prepare for that. So I hope you're good. All right, I'm going to get started pretty quickly today. I'm not going to muck around. And I've just got a little bit of stamping I'd like to do with you, play with a couple of ideas, show you a couple of things that you might not yet have seen, possibly. Hi there, Shannon. Hey, Leonie, how you doing? Okay, so I'm going to pop the phone around, go into the holder, and we'll get started. If you happen to comment or have any questions, I'm going to check back on in the comments during the course of this. I'll try and I'm attempting to do 2 cards today. I've got a bit of an idea what I'm doing, and I'll explain that as I go along. Hey Barb, how you going? Hello Sheila, hi, happy Wednesday. Okay, so let's get to it. Can everyone see my desk okay? I've got mess and all sorts of things going on up here, but that's fine. I'm just going to bring the phone a little bit closer to the table. Okay, can everyone see that all right? Alright, so I will check back with comments and questions as we go, probably in between the 2 cards and then again at the end. So if I don't respond to you immediately, my apologies, but I'm focused down here on what I'm making. So for the first card, I'm actually going to use the lovely Use set, which I've had this one for a little while, but I haven't used it very much, so I thought we would do that today. I've mostly used the sentiments because there's some really great sentiments in this set, but I haven't really used the leaves and flowers very much, so I thought I might use those today. And I'll just show you really quickly in the new catalogue, which is this one. If you don't have one, please send me a message and I'll send one out to you. Here on page 22 in this catalogue, I was inspired by this card here, and I'm going to kind of do something along the lines of this card today. And I'm sticking with, I really like this colour combination. They've also included petal pink. I'm not going to use that, but there's grey granite, Night of Navy, and I'm using crushed curry. So crushed curry, and it's also a little bit apricot, orangey, so I'm wondering if it might be melon mambo. So I haven't actually checked, but somewhere between crushed curry and melon mambo. You could also use the new bumblebee colour in there, and instead of the navy, you could use midnight misty moonlight, which is the new in colour. So that's this one here. It's quite a bit dark, a bit lighter than Night of Navy. You can kind of see how those are different. But I'm actually going, because I don't have these inks yet, they haven't yet arrived, I am going to use Night of Navy ink, but I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight for the cardstock. So, and then this is the Bumblebee colour. So it's a really soft yellow. You can see it's quite a bit softer than, this is Mango Melody. It's very similar to Crushed Curry, but Crushed Curry is a little bit brighter and stronger. This is more of a soft yellow. So that's kind of how they differ. And there's also some Bumblebee, this is Bumblebee Gingham Ribbon, which once again, hopefully you can see it's a little softer. It matches this colour perfectly. This is the Bumblebee colour, and I'm going to try and use that on this card as well, because I thought that would be pretty. So kind of following this idea, your catalogue is a great resource. So anytime you're not sure, if you're short on inspiration, you're not sure what to do, you can turn to any page in your catalogue and find a card that you really love, and then do your own version of that card. Even if you don't have the same ink colours or you don't have the same stamps, you can still come up with something that's kind of a copy. We call that casing, which stands for copy and share everything. If you want to case or copy a card like I'm going to do today with this one, I'm going to change it up a little bit, but I've borrowed some of the colours. I'm also going to use the Lovely Labels Pick a Punch. This is actually a bundle, so this stamp set and this punch are currently a bundle together. So the stamp set by itself is 42, the punch by itself is 40, so that would be 82 if you were normally purchasing them if you wanted both, but you can buy them as a bundle for $73.75, so that's a 10% saving, and that's I think a really great little deal. If you're looking for a great punch and a really great word set, great sentiments, then that's a great bundle. Okay, so we'll use our punch a little bit later, but I'm going to start with the stamps. And I've just realised I probably didn't bring enough blocks over. I've got a couple here, and I've got some here next to me as well. So I shall just grab those. I have a drawer next to me full of blocks, so that's really handy. So if I forget to get my blocks out in advance, I have extra blocks here. So I'll start with the crushed curry. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to start with Night of Navy and Grey Granite. I'll add those ones in later. And we'll do a mixture of full strength and stamped off images. So I'm going to start with, doesn't really matter which one. I've got this lovely flower here. So let's pop that one onto a block. And I kind of, instead of having my, you'll see in the example that's here in the catalogue, they've actually spread them out all over. I'm going to concentrate most of mine in the centre. I just thought I liked that idea. So let's, and then if you do a second stamp, stamped off, whoops, I just made a overstamp. So when you do that, that means I went too hard in here, and when I stamped it out, I pressed a little bit too hard. So a Night of Navy, if it's very strong, is one of the colours that I find I tend to get everywhere. You see, it gets all over my fingers. So I'm going to start with these. So I've done one full strength and one stamped off. Just means that I'll have something else here to cover that up. So I'm not worried about it at the moment. I'm going to pick this little guy here, and I might do him in Grey Granite. The other thing is, this early in the piece we could always start over if we wanted to, but I'm going to be brave and I'm just going to continue on. And by doing one full strength and one half strength, you just get that difference in tone. So don't necessarily re-ink every time you stamp. Sometimes it's nice to have differences in your tone. So this is crushed curry, like I said. And I'm being really random with these stamps. Really, really random. What other one would I like? Got some cute little leaves here. We might go back into navy with this one. And I pretty much covered up my overstamp there. So that's the cool thing about, so you can have them sort of, like you can see I've sort of put mine kind of in the center here, because what my plan is to have my sentiment kind of here in the middle, and by doing that I'll be able to have my other bits coming out from behind. So I might go with a little bit more. I really like this kind of branchy leaves. I don't actually want too much more, I don't think. Alright, let's go with that for now. Doesn't look like much happening there right now, but we're going to put our sentiment in the middle, and I've got two strips here which I've already cut to size. So I have one, and this one does two different shapes, and there are 3 channels for each shape. So there's a 1 inch, a 3/4 of an inch, and a 1/2 inch channel. So I've made the 1 inch and the 1/2 and the 3/4 of an inch pieces here. And which one will I have? I think I'll go with the round edge one today. So what you want to do with this punch to get it to work really well for you is you push this in all the way through. And as a tip, when you cut these pieces, so this one is a 3/4 of an inch, I went a smidge under 3/4 of an inch. That just gives you a little bit more room to work within so they slide in easily. So I hold that in and I'm going to look at the back and make sure, oh, it helps if you open the punch up properly first. So put that all the way in and then look at the back and make sure that it's actually centered in the middle of that piece, and it is. So I'm just going to bring that out and you can see that lovely shape it's made. And then I'm going to use this one in the same shaped piece, push it once again all the way in, turn over, make sure that it is actually centered. Yep. And then I've got two pieces here. So this one now is going to fit beautifully inside this one. Can you see how that works? Looks really pretty. Then I'm actually going to bring in my stamp set and think about which sentiment I would like to have. There's some really, really pretty ones. I might go with Cherished Friend. I haven't even put that one together yet, but that's okay. I'll just use it on the block. Which one is it? This one. I like this. I like the font in these stamps. I think it's really, really pretty. And in a longer block. And make sure that I've inked that up properly. And I'm going to stamp it on my white piece here, leaving a little bit of room. I'm sorry if you're looking at the back of my head right now. Just like that. I have a tiny, tiny little bit of overstamp here. That's okay. Now, how I like to do this is I use my scissors and I look at this and I think, okay, it's going to go to about here, roughly. Okay, that's going to give me about the right amount. But then I also want to add about 3mm on. I know it's not very scientific, but that's what I've been doing. I've been working out how big I want it and adding about 3mm on. And the reason I add 3mm on is because the bit that it cuts off, and let's see if I can find one. Nope, I've already managed to dispose of that. I'll show you in a second. When you put this in, it cuts a little bit off. So if I put this in again, all the way to the end, turn it over, make sure I'm centered. And you can, if it's not centered, you can move it a little bit with your finger, just like this. That's about right. You want it to be exact. Okay, that's the little bit that it cuts off. So it's about 3mm from the round end there. So that's the extra that I allowed for with my scissors. So when I pull that out, that's now the size I want it to be. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with this. You can even attach these in advance if you want to. So let's do that. Will I use dimensionals or will I use snail? The new product, which is called Stamp and Seal, that hasn't arrived yet. Very excited for that to arrive, unless it's arrived this morning and I didn't check, which is possible. I can also use Tombow. If you want it to be popped up, then obviously you'll use dimensionals. And I'm just going to pop that just here. The good thing about liquid glue, the Tombow, is that you can kind of move it into place while it's still wet. Gives you a little bit of time to make your decision, just like that. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I want the other one to end about here, but I'm going to add about 3mm on, like that. Then I'm going to pop this back in. You can do that if you have used snail or Tombow to put it on flat. If you put dimensionals on, obviously you wouldn't be able to slide it back in like I'm doing now. Making sure this is right in the middle on the back. And here we go. It's just perfect the way I want it. If it wasn't, if you think it's a little bit too much here, you could always adjust it. Pop it in again and take a smidge more off if you wish, which I'm going to do. Can you see that? I've just put it in there, taken off that little bit there, and that's going to make that exactly right. Okay, So now I have this great little piece that I can use here in the middle and have all my bits coming out from. And I'm just going to position this and see if I'm happy with how this is looking. I'm actually, believe it or not, going to go in and add a little bit more of the yellow leaves, but I'm going to stamp them off. I don't want them to be too dark. I have one here. Stamp off again. And I want one here. I quite like that look. Just like that. Doesn't that look pretty? It's a really nice little card. Alright, so this is going to end up with dimensionals behind, but I'm not going to... Will I stick it on or will I put my ribbon on first? I'm deciding. So whether I want... The question now is, do I want my ribbon... I better put these leads on before I make a mess. I'm probably making people nervous by having things open. So I can have my ribbon going all the way around, like under here, which does look quite nice, and then have it tied off on one edge here. That would look really pretty. Or I could just do a bow on one edge. I'm going to do a cheat way. So what I'm going to do, where are my scissors? Just grabbing my ribbon scissors, actually. Thank you. I have someone handing me my ribbon scissors. Thank you very much. That's a nice thing, isn't it? There's something very nice about crafting in the rain with a friend. Well, not in the rain, but when it's raining outside. And the other thing I'm going to want for this is a little bit of snail. Goodness me. Nothing like a live video. So I like to do this easy technique. I put a little bit on one end here, about the last inch or so of the ribbon, and a little bit on the other end. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the whole thing across. And if you want to make sure you get it straight, use your grid paper. So if you have grid paper or a grid underneath your work, use it. Put that right across there, just like that. And then I'm just going to fold that over at the back. It's not, you don't use up as much as going all the way around, so it saves you a little bit of. And then this piece now, with its dimensionals on the back, can go right here in the middle. Just like that. And it's going to hold that all down. Also holds it on the front as well as you've got those bits holding it at the back. So I actually really like that. And then I'm just going to tie a little bow. Isn't this gingham ribbon nice? I really like it. This is a new colour, so new ribbon, There's a couple of nice gingham ribbons in the new catalogue. There's the Just Jade, comes in a beautiful green gingham ribbon, but it's in a ribbon combo pack with a couple of other colours. And then you've got the Bumblebee all by itself. So I'm just going to snip this off. And what I will do is I shall glue dot that right here at the edge. So you're going to see this one popped up on my Facebook page very shortly. I'll photograph it nicely and put it on a nice background and then have that there. And then because, see how I've got that little tiny bit of overstamp there, and I said to you it doesn't matter. That's because that's a great place to put a bit of a gem, don't you think? And you could also, I mean, it does look really nice with the gems. We could put a couple of those around the place. One there. And I'm going to put one in the middle of that flower there. Okay, and then this will go onto a card base, and I'll have that glue dotted on, and you'll see that appearing very shortly. I like it. It's cute, and I like these colours. I like the grey. So this is grey granite, Night of Navy, and the Bumblebee. Well, this is Crushed Curry, but you could use Bumblebee instead of Crushed Curry, and you could use the Misty Moonlight in place of the Night of Navy. Although I don't mind, the Night of Navy looks nice with the Misty Moonlight cardstock because they're a little bit darker. But what do you think? Do you like that little card? It's a simple one. Yeah, I think it's pretty. I'm just going back and seeing who said hello. Hello, everyone. Hi to, oh, lots of people. So I might not be able to say hello to everyone individually, but hi, everyone. Any questions? I'm just going through to see if anyone had any questions. Oh, thanks for sharing, Sue. That's really great. Thank you. That really helps when people do that. Yeah, it's a really nice sample in the catalogue, isn't it? Thanks, Tracy, for that. Yeah, so if you're looking for it, it's page 22 in the catalogue. So I kind of copied it, but just did a little bit. I concentrated mine with my flowers in the middle, but the basic idea came from this card here. And if ever you're short on inspiration, that's a great way to go. I noticed a couple of the girls from the Hunter Valley classes are here. Maybe we'll do this one next week. Would you guys like to do this one? If you would, say so, and I'll pop it on the list. What colour card base am I going to use? I'm deciding whether I'm actually going to put like another colour underneath here before I put it onto a white base, or whether, see, I mean, that does look really nice on the Misty Moonlight. If I had that edge going around, it's very pretty. Or you can even go white on white. There's sometimes that looks really good. So, for example, just putting it straight onto a white piece like that looks good as well. Or you can, and that's a decision I haven't yet made. I like both, to be honest. I think it looks nice with the blue. But I also like it on the white, because when you have white on white like that, it kind of takes your attention away from the outsides and brings it right into the middle. So your attention is all here. And I love these little gilded gems. I think they look great. So yeah, I will make that decision and you'll see that card posted very shortly. So hope you like it. Okay, so that's a card for a class next week. Done. Hooray. Okay, and I hope if anyone has any questions about this, guys, I've seen a few people having problems with it, and if anyone saw my video a couple of weeks ago, I had some problems with it. But once I worked out that you just always have to check underneath and make sure you have lined it up from underneath, it's actually a dream to use. So you just make sure that you go to that extra step of checking before you punch. A bit like dial before you dig, isn't it? Let's check before you punch. Okay, and then I just had a bit of a play. I was cleaning up my craft space this morning and came across this piece that I had embossed for another card. Now this is actually the Old World paper embossing folder, part of the World of Good suite. So that's actually in the front of this catalogue as well. Just turn to right at the front it is, or very close to the front. Yeah, page 24. And you'll see it's down here, the Old World paper 3D embossing folder, and they've got a couple of nice samples using that folder. I have used it quite a bit, and then I've also pulled out some of these are called Forever Gold laser cut paper, and it's from a whole swag of pieces. Let me grab them for you because they're definitely worth looking at. You can see I'm already making a mess of mine, but these are beautiful. So you get 3 sheets of this one, which are like card bases. You can see I've already used some. And then you get 3 sheets of this one, which have got all these beautiful shapes. I'm going to use this shape today on this card. I used this one on a different card a couple of days ago with a wood grain background, which I thought also, I love these like fern looking leaves. And there's even this one I think would be a great Christmas wreath. So there's lots and lots of things, and this one would be great for Christmas too, because it's got like gold berries, which is really pretty. It's not designed to be for Christmas, but I think you could make it work for Christmas really well. So these are beautiful, and the thing is you can also use the reverse side. So you've got one side is gold, but the back side is white. So you can use that white, or you can colour it, you can brayer over it, or sponge over it. You can really do almost anything with these. These are fantastic, and I think they're for me, they're one of the must-have items from the new catalogue. These, and the other thing I think is a must-have item from the new catalogue is the In Good Taste papers, which I know you guys have seen me use several times now. So this is the one I think looks like it could be a Christmas wreath. See, with the berries, I really like that, and that would be, that'll be great for another time. But today I'm going to use this little guy. So it's got a hexagon shape that you could work with in its own right, but if I wanted to put a sentiment on that, I could put this, I've got one of the stitch shapes. This is one of the circles, obviously, and that completely covers up that piece, so you've just got the leaves coming out from behind. Or if you wanted to have the hexagon showing, you could put a circle inside there, and then you'd have you could see the hexagon. But I actually like it with the bigger one on there. I'm going to stamp. So this is really, really simple. I'm going to use some of the greens from the Forever Greenery DSP and Pay and Sweet, because they're beautiful. And I'm using one of the stamps from that suite as well. So this is on page 108 in your catalogue. I'm starting to get the hang of some of these page numbers. And that's shaded spruce, that colour. And I've also got some pretty peacock here, and I've got some Pear Pizzazz, which I've stamped. That one is stamped off to make it lighter, and these ones are full strength. So on page 108, if anyone's got the catalogue handy, go for it. Go turn to this one. It's the Forever Greenery Suite, and you've got all these great shapes. You can see they've used the back of that gold paper here on this sample, which I think is just beautiful. These gold hoops are stunning. I'm waiting for mine to arrive. They've been shipped. They can turn up anytime they like, because I really want to get my hands on them so I can start playing with them. The paper is absolutely beautiful, and so are the embossing folders. But that's where you'll find the Forever Gold Laser Cut Specialty Paper. That's right here in the middle. So it's part of the suite. And what they've done this year, which I think is really nice, is they've given you like a collection code where you can put in one code and get the whole lot, or you can of course pick and choose which bits you want. So if you know you're going to be ordering everything in the suite anyway, you might as well just do it with one code. It also includes the 10% saving for the bundle as well. So it's good to go that way if you can. So this is from that Forever Greenery stamp set. I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and I'm going to put it on with Tombow because I want this to go down flat. What I'm finding is that there's a lot of products in this catalogue that make it very easy for people, even if you haven't done a lot of stamping, it makes it very easy to create your cards. So like these Forever, there's no die cutting to do, they're all done. You know, all you got to do is push them out of the packet and stick them on your card. So really, really, really good. I've got a bit of glue on my fingers, which is transferred to that gold paper. It doesn't matter, I'm going to cover it up anyway. Then this one here, I'm going to pop on with dimensionals. If you use your dimensionals and put them more towards the middle, don't put them around the outside, that will give you more room to work with if you want to put leaves and different bits and pieces in, which I do. So just a simple shape, which is going to go straight here, right in the middle. And then I've got these little guys just to add a bit of colour, and I can pop them wherever I like. So I'm deciding where I want them to go. So I'm going to be cutting them down a bit because they're too big to slip in. And I'm going to pop a bit of adhesive on the back. And throw them in here. Because I just want a little bit of colour as well as those gold pieces. Once again, I'm going to cut this one down. Bit of adhesive. Just want that popping out from behind there. And this one obviously needs to be cut down quite a bit. Let's see, might still need to be cut down a bit more. And you don't need to worry about making it look good because it's going to be hidden anyway. Okay, so this one will end up on a card base as well. Once again, I'm still deciding what colour card base I want. And once again, I would probably join this all. I think it needs a ribbon as well. Might use a couple of little gems here and there. Just like that. And yeah, it does need a ribbon. In fact, I think I want the ribbon right here. So I'm going to pop that over here instead, and I'm going to pop my ribbon here. And the ribbon that I've been using for this, I mean, you can either go with some gold twine. That would look really, really nice. But we do have some beautiful new ribbons this year, but also some of my favourite ribbons from the last catalogue have also followed over. So we still, for example, have this beautiful Pretty Peacock and Old Olive reversible ribbon. That one has been showing up on my creations a lot because it goes perfectly with these colour, because this is Pretty Peacock and this is close in tone to Old Olive, even though that one's, you know, I'm looking at that one. That one is Old Olive. This one is Pear Pizzazz. They're a little bit different, but that means that that is a perfect match for this beautiful reversible ribbon. So that would be a good choice. You could go with, we have the gold edged satin ribbon that we had before. We also have the gold, where is it? Just looking. Oh, we've also got the organdy. The organdy ribbon is beautiful, and you can make that any colour you want, so that's really a good choice. And this is the gold twine that I was talking about, this one here. So there's some really, really good choices there when you come to putting cards together. I mean, you can see how simple that is. Really, really simple card. So these gold laser cut pieces just make your card making so easy. If you're after cut something quick and simple that looks like you went to a lot of trouble, definitely get those. They're fantastic. So I'll finish putting those two pieces together. I'll add my ribbon to this, and you'll see those up on my page very shortly. Does anyone have any other questions while I'm here? Just going back through messages. So many people to say hello to. Hi everyone. Gosh, from everywhere. From Indiana. Hi Jenny and Linda. See you guys next week. Oh, Jan, did you say the seal is available today? Is that correct? Am I right? Oh, someone just made an angry face. Who was that and why? Why are you angry? Yeah, I like it with the blue base too, guys. I think that might be my end result, but I'm not sure. I'm going to sit here and work that out. Yeah, the braid. Do you mean the braid twine? Is that the one you mean? Where is it? This one, number 15 here on page 160. Oh, that's exciting, Jen. Thank you. I will go and order myself some of that, which is a shame because I actually put an order in this morning and I should have checked because I really, really want to get my hands on some seal. I guess that means I just have to put another order in, doesn't it? Oh well, that's the way it goes. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed those couple of cards. I better get back to creating and making more things for next week's classes. So I have actually 3 classes in the next week. I have one in a home with 4 ladies, and we're allowed to have 5 people in someone's home now. So I have one up in the Hunter Valley that I'll be going up there this Friday. And then next week I have 2 classes in a cafe, and in the cafe we can have up to 10. Normally I was having 15 for those classes, but we can't do that yet. However, we decided to do 1 for 10, and that booked out so quickly we then organised a second one. So now I have 2 classes next week with 10 people each. So it's going to be a busy week. I hope everyone is keeping well and safe wherever you are, and keep crafting, because crafting, they say it's cheaper than therapy. I don't know about cheaper than therapy, but it's certainly an excellent therapy whether or not it's cheaper, I don't know. I know I certainly probably have spent equal to any therapy I might have done, but I do love my craft. So there we go. Have a great day, guys. Any questions, I'll check back through and answer them. And if there's anything anyone wants to add afterwards, if you're watching the replay, still comment and still ask, and I will come back and answer you. Have a great day, guys. See you soon. Bye.